Blevins, everyone. Well, good evening. Thank you all for sticking around and coming out tonight. My wife and my friend Jason and I just got back from our dreamed vacation. We went to London for the first time, and if you've never been to London, one of the things that you'll notice right away is that there are protests about the protests. They're kind of everywhere, and because of that, there are police officers everywhere. But what's unusual about the police officers there is that they are all exceptionally friendly. So if you're walking down the street and you see one standing on the corner, even if they look very serious, you can walk up and say, "Hey, how do I get to this place or this place?" And it's a 5-minute conversation about what you've done so far today and where you want to go and recommendations along the way. It's fascinating. So when we went to stay there, we stayed at the London Marriott. Now, the London Marriott is right on the River Thames, which is right across from the Parliament building, which is basically the seat of the British government. It's a very nice hotel, and we got there on Saturday. Saturday was kind of a blur because of the jet lag. But Sunday, we had a full day of touristy stuff that we'd gone and done. We get back to the hotel, and Jason and I smoke, so we stepped out onto the balcony. And the balcony is about 6 foot square, and it's open. And there's a row of these balconies down the way, there's about 10 of them. And 2 balconies over, we see something that immediately gets our attention. There's a guy standing on a chair with a bunch of equipment in front of him that stands about 7 feet tall. And he's got a laptop on top of it that he's typing onto. And closer inspection of this equipment, you look at it and you can realize that there's an 8-inch lens that is pointed directly at the Parliament building. So as you can imagine, we thought this was weird. This does not look like a camera, right? It's just this big lens. So we're like, okay, that's weird. So I bring my wife out and she agrees, yes, that's weird, but she can tell somebody. Because you have to do these things, right? So we head downstairs, we're going to go to dinner. We stop by the desk to see the manager and tell him, hey man, there's something weird going on. And I'm just about to explain it to him when I realize that the room is now full of cops. They have now just arrived in force. And they weren't, I heard aggressive, but they were, all of a sudden they were there, and I didn't know that they'd come. And they asked to speak to the manager steps with them, and they start talking, and we can hear them talking about what's going on this balcony, right? And my buddy Jason is a really good guy, and he wants to help, but he's a little awkward, right? And he has a tendency to open his mouth before he speaks, or rather, open his mouth before he thinks. So they're talking about this, and it's clearly a very intense conversation, and Jason pipes up and says, "Oh yeah, we saw that guy. He's next to our balcony. Yeah, we saw him." And every eye in the room immediately was locked on us. And I casually stepped forward, and I grabbed his arm, and I stepped back. And he says, "Well, you can come and look at him if you want." Okay, well now we're in it. Okay, here we go. So, Jamie smartly stays in the lobby. That's my wife. She stays in the lobby. And Jason and I and the manager and 10 police officers get into an elevator, right? And we're headed up to the 6th floor. And even on the elevator, they're still like, "So, how was your day?" It's so strange. But I can see that Jason is starting to get a little uncomfortable because now he realizes that he's in this police action, right? This is not his show, right? This is now all of a sudden we're in a Jason Bourne movie and he's not prepared for this, right? So we exit the elevator and we're walking down the elevator, and the order is there's about 6 or so male police officers in front of us. Then there's me, and then there's Jason, and then there's 2 female police officers behind Jason. And now we're moving with some speed, and our room is a little bit of a distance from the elevator. So we're walking for I don't know, 15 seconds or so, when Jason is nervous, and unfortunately he lets out a very large fart in this hallway. And of course he's mortified, right? And these female police officers behind him start to laugh, right? And I just try to ignore it. And he's mortified because he's just cropped us at the London Police Department. He has no idea what to do with this. So we get to you, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and we keep going. But we can't stop because who knows what the hell's going to be up the hall, right? So we get into our room, and Jason and I step out on the balcony, and and all the police are in our hotel room. So we look over and we tell the cops, yeah, the guy's still out there. And so they leave and they go around and the manager lets them into that room and they go in and they start to yell orders at this guy, but it's still, again, nothing like you would expect from an American police officer. It's, sir, please don't touch the computer. Sir, please keep your hands where I can see them. Commanding, but incredibly polite. Step down from the chair carefully. Be careful. Very strange. So anyway, so they're doing their thing, and we're still starving, so we head out to dinner. And apparently Jason was still stewing about this over dinner, because when we got back to the hotel, we walk into the lobby, and there's a sergeant standing there, right? He's kind of securing the scene while they figure out what the hell's going on upstairs. And Jason walks up to this sergeant, and he says, there were 2 female police officers here earlier, and something happened, and I'd really like to see them and apologize. And he's like, well, one had glasses, and the other had blonde hair, and of course this sergeant has no idea what he's talking about. And Jason starts to recount the story, and so I jump in, and I kind of quickly recount the story to the sergeant, and I said, unfortunately he let out this, this fart. And he looks at Jason and he says, well, did you cup it and throw it at her? Because I might have taken offense to that. But otherwise you shouldn't worry about it. I can't breathe. I can't breathe because the Scot, did you cup it and throw it? I fell over and I'm still trying to catch my breath when 2 police officers come around the corner and they have a guy in handcuffs. And this was the dude from the balcony. Okay. So Jason sees them and recognizes them from the elevator and starts to approach them. He clearly doesn't see the guy in handcuffs, and I tell him to step back. And even in that moment where it's just like this slightly dangerous thing, this police officer looks at me and says, cheers, mate, thanks, have a good day. Takes this guy off to God knows what. So we found, that was a Sunday night. We found out the next day that it was the opening day for Parliament. It was October 14th, and the entire British government was in Parliament that day, including the Queen. Now, we're never going to know, right, what that was. If this was some espionage thing, or if it was a terrorist thing, or it was just some knucklehead with a big cannon, right? We're never going to know. But I like to think that I staged a Queen. and Jason gave a whole new meaning to London Fog. But as they walked that guy out in handcuffs, I knew that when I was getting on the plane and I was coming home, that story was coming with me. Thank you very much.